Hi there, Kasama Lee here. Do you know what a verification of property, or also known as a buyer's final walkthrough is? If you haven't heard of it, you'll want to stay on and watch this video. So in the state of California, in real estate, there is a thing called verification of property, also known in regular language, the buyer's final walkthrough. What that is it's the process where within 5 business days before the escrow is scheduled to close, the buyer's agent would schedule an appointment to do a final walkthrough with their buyers, with their client, to make sure that the property is still in the same condition as before, you know, when they first saw it and they made an offer and they had been in a transaction up to this point. Because you see, an escrow could take between, the quickest I've seen is 10 days if it's all cash, and it could take as long as 30 to 40 days, depending on the terms that were mutually agreed upon by the seller and the buyer. Well, a lot of things can happen in the property during that time, right? Especially when the property is vacant. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I'm the only real estate agent who's experienced this. And if you're a real estate agent and this has happened to you, I'd love for you to comment below. But when the property is vacant, stuff happens to it. I don't know if the house is just lonely, it feels lost, there's nobody using the appliances and the equipment and the utilities. Stuff happens to the house. Sometimes it's, the garage door is not working. Sometimes it's, the water heater is not working. And all of this stuff could be happening. So the buyer verification, the final walkthrough, is really there to serve to make sure that when the buyer walks through the property, everything is still kind of in the same condition. The door still works, the hinges haven't come off. The simplest way I describe to my client is, we want to make sure there's no new hole in the wall or in the ceiling that weren't there before from the last time that they saw it. So it's really critical, I feel. In fact, I insist for my buyers to actually do a walkthrough. Sometimes it's like literally the day before we're scheduled to close escrow. And they're like, well, why do we have to do a walkthrough? Nobody's been in the house. Well, it's to make sure that the condition of the house is still the same, because if there's anything that needs to be brought up to the seller's attention through their agent, you would want to discover that during the final walkthrough. So really, it's designed to protect the buyer. Also, to make sure that the seller is made aware of anything that may have changed or may have shifted since they were last there. Now remember, when the property is vacant, nobody's been there. The seller hasn't been there, buyer hasn't been there since the last time they were there. The agents are not usually walking around inside the property, because the property has been vacant and it's already been in contract, right? So I cannot emphasize enough that it's really the one important final step that the prospective buyer should be doing, walking through with the agent. Now, every agent does this differently, but I usually prepare my client and I tell them that, plan for about a 15-20 minute walkthrough. We're not there to, do anything more than walking through each room and make sure that everything still looks the same, so that the buyer then can sign off the final verification of property form that gets then submitted to the seller that the buyer had done the walkthrough. The seller then signs off on it, and voila, we have a closed escrow. And the new homeowner can get ready to move into the property. If the new homeowner happens to be an investor, they definitely should do a walkthrough, because they're not going to even be living in it. They're going to be renting the place out. If you find this type of information helpful, you'll want to hit subscribe and the bell notification so that you can receive the next update that I will be giving you. Thanks for watching. For more information about buyer's inspection and what that's all about, you can watch this video. Thanks for watching.